actually mentioned as well that they have got other priorities at the moment. Now, what I was told about an hour ago is that Christian Eriksen to Manchester United, you want to go high. On a percentage, you want to go very, very high. He is open to leaving London now. His options very much look like our Brentford and Manchester United, and Eriksen knows that Ten Hag wants him. Ten Hag is obsessed with getting him and De Jong, and this is a big pull to Eriksen, who is taking his time to think through. He's probably waiting for a counter offer from Spurs, but as things stand, he will be joining Manchester United, because if it's between Manchester United and Brentford, the expectation is that he will join Manchester United, because it's Manchester United, it's Erik Ten Hag who's basically saying, you're a massive part of what I want to do, you will be a massive part of this team, and he is expected to join Manchester United. Now, it does bring a bit of smile to my face, because I think when you look at Christian Eriksen, he's the heir to the Mata throne. Hopefully we'll use him more than we use Mata, but he's got that likability, he's got that quality, and Ten Hag really, really wants him. So I wouldn't say it's done deal yet, but what I was told about an hour ago is that this is, if you were going to do percentage, go high. So I would say, I'm not invested in the Eriksen deal. As I said, for me, this is a deal that I'd rather have two centre midfielders, a centre back, a right back, a left-footed winger before I went and got Eriksen, and I'd rather have a striker as well. But the fact that Ten Hag wants him, I think is going to be a big pull. And I suppose I'd say I'm probably... Look, if Spurs aren't interested, I'm tempted to say it's basically deal done. And I can't for the life of me see him staying at Brentford. I think he'll come to Manchester United. So I think that this deal will get done. Jack Malloy, welcome to the Members Club. I think it will get done. I don't necessarily think it will get done this week. He's not really got to make a decision. He's a free agent. He's got till the next Monday. He could be back in training, I suppose. So he might want to get it done this week. But then again, I think Eriksen played. Did Eriksen play? Somebody in the chat, did Eriksen play in the internationals for Denmark? Because if he did, he wouldn't be back until the start of July anyway. So maybe he'll take another week to make his mind up. You sometimes think that a free agent is a player that's going to come very, very quickly. But actually, I think he might just take another week. Finally, a club United can beat in a transfer race, says David. So, yeah, I'd say at this point, I'd happily join the 90% club and for Eriksen, and I think he will end up joining Manchester United now that Spurs have distanced themselves from it. I think before the weekend it looked like he wanted to stay in. He did play in the internationals, thank you everybody. I think before the weekend it looked nailed on like he was going to go to Spurs, but I don't really know why Spurs were going for him anyway. I mean, he's a good player, but I think Spurs... Well, maybe they'll come back into him, but I think he's going to end up coming to Manchester United, and I think he'll probably make his decision at some point this week. Whether he'll be our first signing of the summer, I'm not so sure. I do feel that a lot of things are going to happen this week because they have to happen this week. The next 2 weeks certainly are key. International players won't be back in training until 2 weeks today, but non-international players are going to be back training next Monday. We're going to have training ground pictures of Rashford and David De Gea and Sancho and a few other players who didn't go on international duty. So they're all going to... And Luke Shaw, they're all going to be back, can't they? Why would he go to Tottenham, says Darby. And Mark, do you think Donny can play as a number 6? Donny will be back in training next week as well. He wasn't part of the Dutch squad either. We've got quite a few... We're quite beneficial this year, actually, because we've got a lot of players that should be internationals who aren't internationals. Sancho, De Gea, Rashford, Luke Shaw... Donny van der Beek, they all should have been on international duty and they're not, so we might benefit from them having a proper summer's rest. How happy are you with all this new news, says Ben Holland? Well, we'll go through some of the new news. We need a CDM. Our top priorities are cam and centre midfielder, says Mark Gunn. So, look, I think Eriksen will sign for Manchester United. I spoke to somebody about an hour ago, just before I went on Talk Sport, and they were basically saying that, yeah, Spurs are not in the race anymore, so it's you against Brentford, and I'd go very high chance that he's going to be at Manchester United, so get ready for that. Bit of an obscure one, this. Manchester United had made an offer for Lisandro Martinez, but it leads into this from Disco Mirror, who says, Manchester United are ready to gazump Arsenal and sign Lisandro Martinez after failing to land Timber. Arsenal had a £25 million bid for Martinez rejected by Ajax, and they fear United could now ultimately beat them to the capture. So Arsenal's interest in Lisandro Martinez we spoke about this morning, and Manchester United expected to go in with a £40 million deal offer, which would be about £33 million. for 24-year-old left-footed centre-back Lisandro Martinez of Ajax. Now, we spoke about this morning. I think this is a deal that many of you would be very, very excited about. I am going to use the word caution. I think that Timber deal is not over yet, although everyone keeps writing it off. I still think there's a decision to be made by Timber. He's either got to sign a new contract at Ajax or he's going to come to Manchester United, and he's done neither of those things yet. So I still am interested to see where that's going to go, because Ten Hag really wanted him. And the second choice after Timber has always been Pau Torres. So to get to Lisandro Martinez, Timber's got to sign a contract at Ajax. Torres has got to stay at Villarreal or go somewhere else, and then we go for Lisandro Martinez, because Lisandro Martinez is basically jumping past Timber and Torres to be our centre-back signing. Now, maybe the interest of Arsenal has prompted Ten Hag to go, that's the player we want to go for. And it was interesting reading what Samuel Luckhurst in the Manchester Evening News said this morning, that basically Manchester United are starting from scratch. Every player that was suggested from the scouting department of United before Ten Hag has come in has basically been ignored, as Ten Hag has said he wants these players. So that just shows you, maybe a little bit of delay excuse there. I don't know what you think about that. But Lisandro Martinez could well be a player that we bid for, and maybe we are being rushed into this because of the Arsenal interest. Maybe we're not interested at all and we're being used to get Arsenal to bid higher. So we'll wait and see on that one. But it's funny because I have been looking around on social media as I do, and whilst not many people are doing this, I do see, it reminds me of bloody Arsenal fans last week telling us that this Vieira of Porto is going to be better than Bernardo Silva, and they've probably never watched him play. And Lisandro Martinez is appearing in more and more United predicted 11 for Ajax last season. As far as I was aware, he played centre-back all season. So we are going to take a Dutch league centre-back, drop him into the most competitive league in the world as a CDM, and then when he's shit, we'll slaughter him. I just don't get it. There seems to be an obsession in our fan base to take a player from one position and solve the CDM. Oh, let's try Wan-Bissaka as a CDM. Let's try Lindelof as a CDM. Let's buy Lautaro we'd probably try Lautaro Martinez of Inter. Let's get Lisandro Martinez from the Dutch league and try him as a CDM. It's like, let's buy a CDM. We're Manchester United. Just buy a defensive-minded midfielder. I think bringing Lisandro Martinez into Manchester United and dropping him in the midfield would be ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. For me, he will come in and be the backup centre-back to Maguire and Varane. I think that's where he will end up being. He may well get used at left-back. But, yeah, we can't just keep buying players and thinking, let's play them as a CDM. It's crazy. He's a centre-back. That's where he's played. I think he was Ajax's Player of the Year last year as a centre-back. Why would we buy a centre-back and put him in the midfield? Why didn't Ten Hag do that then? I think don't be fooled, it's not Eriksen, it's Erik's son, says Steve Locke. I think that we are very desperate for a defensive-minded midfielder, and we're linked to none. So people start going, oh, maybe the centre-back can play there. And I just think we need a centre-back. The importance of a defensive-minded midfielder should not be understated. But the reason Erik Ten Hag wants a centre-back is because Manchester United's defensive line cannot play the way that Ajax play. The reason Timber and Lisandro Martinez are, people will say, well, they can play left-back, they can play right-back. Timber, obviously right-footed, and Martinez is left-footed, is because those centre-backs for Ajax, they cover the flanks a lot. They defend down the flanks. They're mobile. They're good on the ball. Both of them are under 6 foot. So I would be less locked into let's buy one of Ajax's centre-backs to play him as a CDM. And I'd be more thinking he wants to buy one of Ajax's centre-backs because the way Ajax centre-backs play is how he wants United to play. He wants his centre-backs to play a high line. He wants them to be ball players, and he wants them to be able to cover the flanks when the full-backs go forward, because that's what Ajax do. So Lisandro Martinez he's probably more suitable to the back four for Manchester United because he's left-footed. I mean, Timber can play as a left-sided centre-back, but he's right-footed. So, look, I don't know whether we're in for Lisandro Martinez.